And we are live. Welcome back to Takes by Fans. We got a great show for you today. As always, we are live every single day at noon Eastern. If you want to watch live, head over to twitch.tv/takesbyfans. If you want to watch but not live, head over to our YouTube channel, Takes by Fans. We post all of our shows and clips of the show there on a daily basis. And if you just want to listen, we are on podcasting apps, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio. So however you want to watch or listen, we've got you covered multiple ways. Alrighty, today's a big ol' Sunday, continuing on with the playoffs, the NBA playoffs today. 4 games on. Unfortunately, we just had our first sweep yesterday. Bucks sweeping the Heat in 4 games. So enjoy the 4 games of basketball today, because this is probably going to be the last weekend of 4 days. So enjoy it while it lasts. We are going to be doing that. Games are tipping off at 1 o'clock today, so we got to run through the show quickly today, folks. We got to get ready. We got to watch it. I know y'all want to watch it, but I got to watch it too. Don't y'all want me to watch the sports too? The games, the good games. So we're going to try to be out of here by 1 o'clock today. But we're breaking down the NBA from last night, doing our moneymaker for today's action. And, you know, we got to talk about the stories of the day. So let's just jump right into it with the first story up. And LeVeon Bell, man, he's still a free agent. Nobody signed him yet. OTAs are just opening up. The league year is just about beginning. So where is this man going to end up? So he takes to Twitter the other day and says a couple of tweets here. 2021 will be the year, y'all reminded. And man, oh man, we do have to respect what Le'Veon Bell has done in his career. With the Steelers absolutely getting it done. 2014, 1,300 yards, 8 touchdowns. 2016, I should say, injured in 2015. 2016, 1,200 yards. 2017, 1,200 yards, 9 touchdowns. So this man we know is an elite runner. Just unfortunately, after he left Pittsburgh, unfortunately didn't know where he had it good. He thought it would, grass is always greener. And so he leaves Pittsburgh. Not the best decision. He wanted to get paid. They weren't willing to pay him. Unfortunate. So he goes to the Jets, and we know that was a bad option. We don't even know why he went there. You were going to go play with Adam Gase, and it's just so funny because as soon as he got there, Adam Gase was like, "Why are we paying you all this money? What are we doing?" Like, well, I don't want you. I don't think you're that good. So, Le'Veon Bell has kind of been, a little bit fed up ever since leaving the Pittsburgh Steelers, and just unfortunately, sometimes, you left a place where you're bread was buttered on both sides. And the Jets, they took the butter and the bread, and then they just threw the bread on the ground and buttered something. I don't know what they were buttering over there, but it wasn't wins over there with the Jets. They were not buttering no wins over there. So, Le'Veon Bell, we know this man's an elite rusher in this league. Maybe some fresh legs, even though, how old is this man? 31? 29? 29. So, yeah, still some fresh legs, and even fresher legs because he hasn't really been getting the ball over the last 3 years. So, he's still out there wanting to be signed. Let's keep on with these tweets here. Another one. LOL, the only difference with the Steelers was they gave me opportunity. Haven't had that since I left. Yeah, we just said it. He hasn't even, what were these rushes? How many carries was he getting with the Jets? Let me get this. All right, so with the Steelers, he was getting 321 rushes, 261, 290. So they were working this man into the ground there in Pittsburgh, giving him the rock every single play. Then he goes to the Jets, and, it goes down to 245. It's like the least amount of carries he's ever had in a full season. So they were never utilizing him. They didn't utilize him in Kansas City just because they had all that talent there anyway. They didn't really need him, and they didn't really use him that much. So, yeah, no other team really gave him opportunity like the Steelers did, unfortunately. I probably need to play for a defensive-minded head coach instead of these offensive-minded gurus. Oh, yeah, Adam Gase, offensive-minded guru, quarterback guru. We've all heard the stories that were just complete nonsense. We knew that. We knew that by the time he got to the Dolphins, that those narratives were complete and utter garbage narratives. So, Now, LeVeon Bell, go to defensive-minded head coach. We got one in Miami, Brian Flores. We just heard kind of LeVeon Bell talk about, possibly going to the Dolphins, I think last week. I think I saw something about that. But, LeVeon Bell, he's sick of getting kind of fleeced here, and he's going to say that in the next tweet. So let's go here. Another tweet here by LeVeon Bell. I had more touches in 2017 for the Steelers than I had my entire time with the Jets. That's what I meant by opportunity. And then the last tweet, I'll sign somewhere when I'm ready. Ain't no more finessing me with lies and shit just to get me to sign with any team. No more rush decisions on my end, period. And I got to respect the heck out of him for saying this. Yes, you are the player. You hold your own destiny. You hold your own fate. And players really have to start taking kind of a hold of their own kind of careers. And we have been seeing that more and more in and really every sport, basketball, football, it doesn't matter. Teams are really just kind of deciding their own future. We had Russell Wilson start to speak out against Seattle. Hey, get me a line, or next year I'm really leaving. I'm really leaving next year. Aaron Rodgers has always been talking about the respect. Hey, give me the respect. I'm a great talent, and you're not even utilizing me. You're signing my backup when I still have more career. I got at least 5 years solid of quarterback play. You don't need to draft a quarterback right now for that. Maybe 2, 3, 4 years, and when I'm at my maybe last or second to last year, then bring in the guy. But don't bring in the guy 6 years removed from when I maybe stopped being in my prime. And then, Tom Brady, he was like, all right, New England, see ya. I'm going to go somewhere else and start, building my kind of Hall of Fame, greatest of all time resume by winning a ring year one with another team. And then we're also going to be bringing up a story later in the show about Isaiah Thomas for the Celtics, how they kind of lied to him to keep him. And, we're going to get to that story. I don't want to spoil it, but LeVeon Bell taking charge of his own career. He's going to sign when he's ready. No more finessing me. Yeah, they were just promising me everything with the Jets, and I signed it like a dummy, and then my head coach didn't even want me. So why did I sign there? Maybe a little rush to judgment there for LeVeon Bell, having that contract dispute with the Steelers, trying to just go somewhere to prove them wrong instantly, and unfortunately that was definitely the worst decision he's ever made in his career, and he left Pittsburgh, which is still a bad decision overall of what has happened in this man's career. So I'm glad that this man's really just kind of, taking his time, feeling it all out. I'm going to do what's best for me. You're not going to trick me, saying everything I want to hear. I'm doing my due diligence. I'm hearing offers from everybody, and I'm going to make the right decision for me, for myself. So we'll see where LeVeon Bell ends up signing, but, let's just try to do it a little quickly here. We're starting to get into the thick of it here in the off season to really get prepared for next season, and I would love to see LeVeon Bell back at the top of great running backs. Derrick Henry, Delvin Cook, Aaron Jones, LeVeon Bell. He doesn't have that. There's not that many great rushers in this league. Obviously, Derrick Henry's one. Delvin Cook's probably two. Is there a third? Bass? Yeah, Aaron Jones, probably. Ronald Jones is still pretty solid. Ezekiel Elliott, kind of hit and miss here. But, LeVeon Bell can come into this league, back into this league, and really return to his prime shape and be one of the top 5 running backs in the league. So we'll see where he ends up signing. I definitely want to see this man back in the league, an explosive, take the top off the defense running back. Absolutely. I'm all about that. Big playability. Let's get it going. So we'll see where he ends up going. But we know he's going to do what's best for him, and he's definitely going to take his time, like you said. So hopefully not too much time, but we'll see where it ends up. Alrighty, let's keep moving on here. We'll talk about some Julio Jones news here for a couple of stories. So Julio Jones, he kind of described the quarterback that he wants to play with. We get a little bit of a clip here, and he says he wants to play with like the Dante Culpepper type, strong arm, who's a little mobile, and who's able to just deliver deep balls for Julio Jones to go and get. So that's what Julio Jones said from his own mouth. And we know, we've got some odds here of what team is going to be Julio Jones' new team. So if he says he wants to play with somebody like Dante Culpepper, well, let's see what Dante Culpepper was doing in his career. with the big arm that Julio Jones says he wants. So yards per attempt here, Dante Culpepper was averaging 7.6 yards per attempt throughout his entire career. Pretty solid. Average, yards per attempt is basically like 7 to 8 yards. Obviously we're talking about 7.8, 7.6, 7.4. So, 7 to 8 is good. It's real good in this league. It's average / good. Obviously anything above 8 is very good. Anything below 7 is not the best. So Dante Culpepper right in there, 7.6 yards per attempt. And then when we go to what DraftKings is saying, let's talk about this, and then we'll talk about the quarterbacks associated with these teams. But we get these lines are up to date as of the 28th. So as of last Friday. Nothing's been really up to date. Nothing's really changed ever since then. It's the weekend. No stories come out, So as of Friday, the Patriots are still the front runners at plus 450 odds. And we kind of tracked their progress here from opening odds all the way up to, last Friday. The Patriots started at plus 700, then went down to plus 600, and now at plus 450. So once again, the Patriots, for some reason, are seeming like the favorites here. And I'm still not believing it. I know that I have to kind of put more weight into what Vegas is saying than, my own opinion, unfortunately, because Vegas does not lose money. But I'm still not getting the whole Patriots narrative. He said he wants to play for a winning quarterback. Then he said he wants to go play for a quarterback like Dante Culpepper with a strong arm. So was Cam Newton really doing that last year? I mean, last year, 7.2 yards per attempt. The year before that in Carolina, he only played 2 games, so he can't even take that. But Cam Newton's averaging 7.3 yards per attempt his entire career. 7.6, 7.3, so still in the same area. So I guess Cam Newton would kind of fit that narrative of a big arm quarterback. I do think his arm is declining slightly. We saw him rush for more touchdowns than he did throwing the ball. So, how is that going to play into Julio Jones' decision? Does he really want to play for this Patriots team? I don't know. I don't know if Cam Newton is the quarterback that he's really describing there. But, the yards per attempt, I got to give it credit for Cam Newton. It's kind of right up there with Dante Culpepper. So maybe he does got the big arm. I don't know. I didn't really see it that much last year because, they didn't have any wide receiver weapons. And Cam Newton was looking to kind of, get rid of the ball quickly. And, he was looking to run most of the time. So that's the Patriots and Julio Jones at plus 450. But look at this. Some team that really jumped up big at the opening odds to get Julio Jones. The Rams were plus 6,600s, folks. 6,600. That's wild odds. That's like guaranteed not to happen odds. But then got closer and closer. Then at 524, they were at plus 3,300. And then just as of Friday, folks, they were plus 500. They went from plus 6,600 to plus 500. That's an amazing leap here. So watch out for the Rams. And we know Matt Stafford has that big arm. That's really the only reason why he's still relevant in this league. It's not the wins and it's not the Lions organization. It was him playing with Megatron in the big arm that he has. So Matt Stafford here, playing with Matt Stafford definitely lines up to what Julio Jones wants. He wants to play for a Super Bowl contender, check mark the Rams, and he wants to play for a big arm quarterback, check mark Matthew Stafford. So, I do like that the Rams are getting more favorite odds. They're only, plus 50. They're only kind of like 50 spread points behind the Patriots for the favorite. Patriots at plus 450, Rams at plus 500. So, this Rams team with Julio Jones, I mean, that would be wild to see Sean McVay with the quarterback that he wants, with a Hall of Fame A1 Tier 1 wide receiver in Julio Jones. Yes, that's Super Bowl contenders right there instantly. I mean, we already, walked through the season and we had the Colts versus Rams in the Super Bowl, but I mean, Julio Jones there, oh my God, yes, let's get that going. So Rams are creeping up here. Don't be surprised if the Rams can sweep in, because I'm not buying the Patriots, folks. I truly am not. But this Rams team is making a trillion more percent sense. They're making so much more sense than the Patriots. But another thing that we do have to kind of keep in mind here, it's going to be a trade, folks. This is going to be a trade. This is not going to be a cut and release. This is going to be a trade. So the Falcons are going to do what's best for them. Unfortunately, they're going to probably try to do what's best for Julio Jones as well, because he's done his service. He paid his dues for this Atlanta, organization. He got him to the Super Bowl. Unfortunately, the defense couldn't close it out. That's not Julio's fault. They were leading. We all know the, blown lead against the Patriots. So watch out for the Rams at plus 500. The Titans are also at plus 500. We just saw that they lost one of their two great wide receivers that they had. No more Corey Davis. So, that would be a nice replacement, definitely. What else do we got here? Who else is at? So we got the Patriots favorites at plus 450. Then the Rams at plus 500. The Titans at plus 500. Those are the next favorites. And then the next favorite after that, the fourth place team, is the Falcons at plus 600 to stay put. And that's kind of been going less and less. The Falcons opened up at minus 150 odds. That's clear favorites right there. Went up to plus 500, now at plus 600 because of all this kind of news surrounding it, all this media attention. I'm sure that's why the Falcons' odds keep declining and declining and declining. We get the Colts at plus 1,000. I would love to see that. T.Y. Hilton and Julio Jones with Michael Pittman Jr. as the third. Talk about great wide receiver core. Holy moly. But plus 1,000, that's seeming like not to happen. Unfortunately, I would have loved to see that. That would have made definitely. I already think this Colts team right now is Super Bowl contenders. But with Julio Jones, that just cements it. Champions. Easy peasy. Chargers at plus 900. Ravens at plus 1,000. Jags at plus 900 and the Jags have kind of made a nice kind of leap up here, but I don't get that. You want to play for a rookie head coach, a rookie quarterback. I don't really see that happening. Jaguars starting out at plus 500, then going to plus 2,500, and now plus at 900. 49ers also at plus 900, and the Packers at 1,200, which is kind of surprising because we thought, the Packers would try to do whatever is in their power to get Julio Jones to make Aaron Rodgers a little bit more happy. But, in classic Packers fashion, they don't do anything. Obviously, they don't do anything for Aaron Rodgers, so why would they go and get Julio Jones? So that's kind of where we are right now with Julio Jones. Patriots, the favorite to land him at plus 450. But watch out for that Rams team. I think the Rams truly make the most sense to go and land Julio Jones. Big, strong arm quarterback like we just heard Julio Jones wants. And then we also heard that he wants to go and play for a contender, Super Bowl contender. Why wouldn't you? So the Rams, they check all those boxes. So we'll keep definitely tabs on what's going on with Julio Jones. But then we get articles like this. It's just nonsense. So I'm going to read the headline, and then we're going to get into the article, and it's just going to be comical. So here we go. Steelers wide receiver Chase Claypool would love to see Julio Jones in Pittsburgh. Of course. Who wouldn't want to have Julio Jones on your team? Name me one team that would not want Julio Jones. Nobody. Everybody would want this man. So, this is just a classic, headline that you're going to see, especially since, it's coming up, folks. It's not a deadline. It's the earliest day it could happen of a Julio Jones trade would be this Wednesday coming up. What are we going into? June 2nd. So watch out for that date, June 2nd. But, next week it's going to get put. We're going to go warp speed on this Julio Jones news. Everybody's going to be talking about it. Every team's going to think they're contenders. Everybody's going to be talking about it. So watch out for this week. We're going to get a lot of these stories right here. Steelers wide receiver Chase Claypool would love to see Julio Jones in Pittsburgh. Of course. So we get that headline. And then look at this article, folks. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 6 paragraphs, but every paragraph is just a sentence. So this is like the shortest article I've ever seen here. So we can read the entire thing. That's how short it is. So here we go. This is the article that they wrote on this headline. Here we go. Count Pittsburgh Steelers wide receiver Chase Claypool among those who would love to see Julio Jones join the team. Of course, any wide receiver. You can chalk that up. You can just any name. Semi Fayoko, who's a 5th round rookie wide receiver this year, will love to see Julio Jones with the Cowboys. Okay, so let's all relax. In Los Angeles last week, Claypool told TMZ that he would love to see Jones come to the Steel City. After 10 seasons with the Falcons, the All-Pro wide receiver is looking to get out of Atlanta and has requested a trade. Claypool, 22, had a fine rookie season himself, catching 62 passes for 873 yards and 9 touchdowns. And although Pittsburgh is already stacked at wide receiver, truly they are, with Claypool, Juju Smith-Schuster, Deontay Johnson, and James Washington, the second-year player out of Notre Dame would welcome Jones to the wide receiver room. Are you all ready for this? Are you all ready for this quote? Because this was what the entire article, what the entire headline was based around. The very last sentence of the article is the actual quote. So here we go. Quote, "You can never get too many superstars." That was the quote. That was the quote that made NFL.com write this. Who wrote this headline? I got to call this man out. Oh, it's around the NFL staff. Nobody even wants to put their name to this one. Nobody even wants to put their name to this article. It's just the staff of the around the NFL. It's the entire staff. We'll all take the hit on this one. So it's just nonsense, folks. Of course, you can never get too many superstars. Of course. Did you just see the Bucks last year, folks? Did you just see the Bucks last season, folks? They had every superstar: wide receivers, tight ends, running backs, quarterbacks, everywhere. Defensive backs, defensive linemen, Ndamukong Suh, Jason Pierre-Paul, Mike Evans, Ronald Jones, Tom Brady, Rob Gronkowski. I mean, they had it everywhere, folks. So, of course, you can never have too many superstars. Of course, every team would love Julio Jones. Even if you were the number one wide receiver, you've got Julio Jones, you're diverting attention. So, literally, everybody would benefit from Julio Jones besides Julio Jones, because now he's the number one wide receiver on your team, and he's going to be locked up by the number one corner on the opposing defense. So, just watch out for stories like this, folks. Just classic clickbait, classic grab your attention that there's no meat, there's no substance in these articles. And it's just so funny that they put the quote, the literal last sentence of the article. So that's what we're in for this week, folks. So buckle up and get ready. Everybody is going to be talking about Julio Jones this week because the trade, in my opinion, like we said, I think it's definitely going to happen June 2nd. Like that's the earliest it can happen. I think it's going to happen as soon as that clock strikes midnight, because you could hear all the trades. There's no rules preventing you from talking about the trades or talking about trade packages and scenarios. There's nothing like that. So they were free to continue to talk to everybody. This is not a secret that, Julio Jones is on the market, but shh, we can't say anything. We can't even talk until June 2nd. No. You can talk. The trade just can't happen until June 2nd. So watch out for Wednesday, folks. We'll know more about Julio Jones then. But don't fall for all these clickbait headlines. Of course, every team would love Julio Jones on their squad. Alrighty, let's head over to some basketball news now. So a couple of days ago, the Timberwolves brought D'Angelo Russell and Jalen Noel to the Lakers vs. Suns Game 1 to, quote, show them what it's like to play among a hectic playoff domain. Now, D'Angelo Russell's already been in the playoffs. In 2019, he went on the road and beat the 76ers in Game 1 and then got swept after that, unfortunately. But, he's been in the playoffs. So, it's not the biggest story here, but we know this Timberwolves team is up-and-coming, rising stars, and D'Angelo Russell got to the playoffs with the Brooklyn Nets, not with the Timberwolves. So we saw how great they were last year at the end of the season when everybody was healthy. Karl-Anthony Towns, D'Angelo Russell, Anthony Edwards, the rookie from last season, truly getting it done. So I'm kind of big on this. I know this isn't like anything solid or anything really kind of of substance, because you got to do it on the court, but just getting that kind of preparation, getting this mindset heading into next season, this is telling me that, hey, the Timberwolves are all in on what they've got right now. Maybe just add another kind of superstar kind of, in free agency as the season progresses, but they've got their core. Karl-Anthony Towns down low, Anthony Edwards shooting guard, D'Angelo Russell point guard, and they were winning games at the end of the season, folks. This Timberwolves team was good. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna downplay it. This was a good team, folks. This was a solid team that really had a good opportunity to win any game that they were in. So I'm kind of big on what the Timberwolves did of bringing them, hey, this is where we're gonna be next year, folks. So get ready, get right, because we just showed it last season at the back half when everybody was healthy. Yeah, D'Angelo Russell wasn't healthy and Karl-Anthony Towns wasn't healthy for the entire season, but that got Anthony Edwards the bulk of the load. So now he knows what to do. And then when we put it all together, we were winning games. So watch out. I'm gonna be big on this Timberwolves team starting next season, folks. We're gonna talk about them heavy. heavy. We're going to be rooting for them heavy. And we think they're definitely playoff contenders next season. Absolutely. So watch out for the T-Wolves next season. They're getting right, folks. They started the groundwork this season, the back half of the season, and now they're ready to rock next year when it comes down to it. So if everybody can stay healthy, the Timberwolves will be in the playoffs next year, folks. Hands down, no debate. They will be in the playoffs next year. If everybody can stay healthy, watch out for the T-Wolves. Alrighty. Well, we just saw the Heat get swept last night, or yesterday. It was the first game. Was it the first game on? I think it was, yeah. So, truly unfortunate for this Heat team. Got to the finals last year. Jimmy Butler was so close of getting a ring. And now he's further than ever because he just got swept by the Bucks in the first round. And Tyler Hero, kind of a big part of that, just that outside shooting. I mean, it's night and day compared to what that Heat team was last year in the bubble to this season. I mean, they were just not even close to the same team. I was never afraid of this team from the three. I was never afraid of this team down low. And I kind of wasn't even that afraid of Jimmy Butler this year. I just didn't see it from him. I didn't feel it from him. That attitude, that commitment to win, that competitive edge. It's just unfortunate. I didn't see it this season. So the Heat truly floundered in this season. Bubble frauds, I'm not going to go that far. I'm not going to disrespect any team from last year in the bubble. I mean, just because it's different circumstances, I mean, everybody was in the same circumstance. So I'm not going to call them bubble frauds. I'm hearing the meme around Twitter is bubble guppies because it was like a cartoon show on Nickelodeon, and a lot of people are calling them bubble guppies, which is hilarious in its own. But I'm not going to go that far and disrespect them by calling them bubble guppies, even though it is truly hilarious. So when we look at what Tyler Hero did last year in the bubble this season, I mean, it just was truly night and day. So let's just talk about what he did this season. 4-0 sweep, only played 23 minutes. That was another difference here. He was playing 32 minutes, 33 minutes, 34 minutes, 34 minutes, and every single playoff series last year all the way up to the finals. Then this season only playing 23 minutes. And that was kind of weird because there was more opportunity for him this season than last season to kind of get into that starting lineup. I mean, I don't understand why this Heat team was just so big on Duncan Robinson. I didn't think that he was that great. Now, I'm not saying that Tyler Hero was better than Duncan Robinson, but I mean, at some point, I put Tyler Hero in the starting lineup. I would have put him in the starting lineup at Game 4. We moved Goran Dragic into the starting lineup in Game 3. That didn't work. I keep Goran Dragic at the 1, Tyler Hero at the 2, and have Duncan Robinson and Kendrick Nunn come off the bench because them in the starting lineup, they don't give you anything great. I mean, they're maybe 10 to 12 points a game for each of them. I mean, yeah, it's solid, but that's not what you need from your starting roster. And the fact that they never really elevated their play from the starting roster to the bench, I would have threw Tyler Hero in there Game 4, but we never got that. So I'm a little disappointed in Eric Spoelstra of not really truly finding the correct lineup of what's going to make this team work this year, not kind of falling in love with what happened last year. I mean, you just had no bigs. I mean, it was just Bam Adebayo. You had Kelly Olynyk and Jay Crowder, and I don't want to hear no slander from Jay Crowder because this man's a great defender, and he can stretch the floor with the 3. Not stretching the floor so much this year with the Suns, but still playing that good defense. I mean, if it wasn't for Jay Crowder on that Suns team, that was going to be a sweep, folks. I mean, Jay Crowder is truly holding this team together, in my opinion, against the Lakers with all that beef down low of LeBron, AD, and Andre Drummond. So, it was a different team from last season, and they just could not find what was working for them this year. So, back to Tyler Hero, averaging 9 points, 3 rebounds, and only 1 assist this year in the playoffs. When you compare it to what he was doing last season in the first round of the playoffs, playing 34 minutes, 16 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. The second round of the playoffs, 13 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. The third round, the Eastern Conference Finals, this man averaged 19 points, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists. I mean, absolutely fantastic. And then in the finals, 14 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. But I mean, just this year of only averaging 9 points, truly not getting it done, not being that lethal outside shooter to stretch the floor, so everything's just going to be combined down low more. And we know Bam Adebayo, he's been getting called out by his teammates all season of not being aggressive. So if you have no shooters to stretch the floor and your big's not getting it done down low, I mean, that's just a recipe for disaster because they're just going to be hoarding that paint, the defense of whatever team they're facing, and which is just puts Bam Adebayo in a worse spot. That makes everybody else speak out against them when we truly have to be looking at their outside shooters because Kendrick Nunn, Duncan Robinson, Robinson and Tyler Hero, those are their outside shooters, folks. And they were truly never getting it done here, putting more pressure on Bam Adebayo, putting more pressure on Jimmy Butler, and they just couldn't get it done. And even Goran Dragic was not as good as he was last year in the bubble. So a complete collapse here of this Heat team. They must blow it up. You cannot run this team back. They will never recover from the season. Jimmy Butler is not the type of player to kind of forgets and forgives, folks. It's just unfortunate. And I'm not knocking Jimmy Butler. I love the spirit. I love the competitive edge. I love all that about him. But he's not the player that's just going to be like, all right, let's move on this season. Let's write off this season. Let's put it in the back of our... No. He's going to remember this series of Tyler Hero being trash, Duncan Robinson being trash, Bam Adebayo being, light out there, not being that heavy beef that they needed. So just an absolute collapse of this Heat team, and they get swept. But we called it, so we'll give us credit. We called it 4-1. I even gave the Heat a little bit more credit than they truly deserved. We gave the Bucks a series win in 4 and 5, giving the Heat one win, but they couldn't even get that. They got swept. And did we go out of order a little bit? Yeah, well, let's do this one. So, the Bucks bringing out the brooms with their mascot. I love it. And look at the subtle dig here. The coffee cups. And if you didn't remember from last season, the big face coffee with Jimmy Butler in the bubble. That was a whole thing. Jimmy Butler trying to be cute with the big face coffee. And they've got coffee cups on the floor, and they're sweeping it. And, ooh, boy, revenge is so sweet, especially when you can sweep the team that beat your ass last year in the playoffs, even though that you were kind of favorites over them. So, love this. And then Giannis is in his post-game interview, and he's got this great quote here saying, there's a saying, don't play with your food. We didn't want to play with our food. We got it done quick and easy. 4 games in, 4 games out, 2 on the road, 2 at home. No worries. We're not playing with our food. We are getting it done. We are gobbling up our food, swallowing it so it can't come back up and bite us later. So Giannis had us kind of freaking out a little bit at the beginning of the series, saying, hey, I don't even know if this year is going to be different, kind of scaring us a little bit. But at the end of the day, Giannis did his thing. He got a triple-double, his first career playoff triple-double, all about that. So, well done for the Bucks of staying the course, just kind of downplaying what they've been doing all year, not really kind of saying, we're actually real good this season, not getting a big head, not talking their game too loudly before they really go and prove anything in the playoffs, and that's exactly what they did. So we're still big on this Bucks. We still have them winning the entire the finals. Dante DiVincenzo is out, unfortunately, for the entire season. How unfortunate is that? Now, they still won the game last night without him. Bryn Forbes is really going to have to step it up big time, and we know he's a great shooter, but how is he going to be able to kind of get those opportunities to shoot the 3 at a high percentage when he's out there out of the floor in the starting roster, when everybody kind of knows, hey, we have to really put a body on him, not just somebody coming off the bench and getting it done. So, Bryn Forbes, man, it's your time to shine. Let's get it done. And this Bucks team is still kind of deep without Dante DiVincenzo, but we'll see how overall it works out. Because if they have to go face the 76ers in the finals without Dante DiVincenzo of that depth, that's going to be a real tough series, because we just saw what Joel Embiid did last night, and absolutely freaking magnificent. And if it's going to be Giannis versus Embiid, that's what we have. We did have that. Oh, wow, they erased it. Wow, they erased all of our picks. But we did have the 76ers and the Bucks in the Eastern Conference Finals, and I do think we had it going 7 with the Bucks winning. But without this depth of Dante DiVincenzo, that could affect them late. I don't think it's going to affect them this series, where they have to go and face the Nets, most likely. We'll talk about that series in a second when we get to our lines, but the Bucks just beat them down low in their last 2 meetings against the Nets in the last month. So I don't see Dante DiVincenzo being too much of a miss there, but if you have to go and face the 76ers, we know this 76ers team is deep. They got that great starting lineup of 3-point shooters and defense and mid-range shooters and beef down low, and then they also got that decent bench of Dwight Howard and Shake Milton and Thibault, so they've got some decent bench there, and that's where Dante DiVincenzo, his absence, is really going to start, they're definitely going to start feeling it if they get past the Nets. So we'll see how they fare without him, but hey, they won game 1. Still, good sign so far, even though it's all 1 game sample size. All right, and then the last story to talk about here, we just kind of hinted at it when we were talking about LeVeon Bell, but man, oh man, you have to control your own destiny and always do what's best for you. Never do what's best for the organization unless you're just in that position where you feel like you can. You're always healthy, you've got some rings, you've got some money. I could take a pay cut like what the Bucks are doing. Then you take the pay cut, you go with the team. But, if you don't have any of that, you don't have the rings yet, you don't have the money yet, always do what's best for you, because we get this story right here. Isaiah Thomas says Boston Celtics didn't reveal long-term risk of playing through hip injury in 2017. So, these doctors were not being truthful with this man. The team doctors were not giving him all the information he needed to make an educated decision for what's best for himself. So here we go. Let's read this article. Pretty short, so we can go through it quickly. But former Boston Celtics guard Isaiah Thomas believes that the team wasn't completely honest with him in 2017 when he suffered a severe hip injury from which he's never really recovered. Thomas appeared on the All the Smoke podcast and told co-hosts Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson that the dangers of trying to play through his injury should have been explained to him by the Celtics. Quote here by Isaiah Thomas: "The only thing that I think they handled wrong was not explaining to me what the extent of my injury could be if I do play," Thomas said. Quote, "That was the biggest thing for me that I disliked because nobody gave me no insight. Okay, you do play, this can happen." So they were like, yeah, you just need to get out there. You're good to go. You can get out there. You can play today. That's fine. All right, you got to go out there and win for us. You can play. You're fine. All right, we'll give you the shot. We'll get you this injection. You're good to play. You feel any pain right now? No? All right, then you're good to play right now. But they never told him the long-term effects, and he hasn't played since, 2017? I think did he play this season for like maybe one game or something and then had to stop? Let me get that up real quick. It just goes back to, doing what's best for you, because the team is always going to do what's best for the team. And, these team doctors are supposed to be, impartial and unbiased and doing what's best for the patient. But then we just get this story. So what's the deal there? So Isaiah Thomas, what did he do? He played 3 games this season, unfortunately, with the Pelicans, and that was it. So just truly unfortunate by this man never getting right, never really fully recovering from that injury. So always do what's best for the player. That's why if a player wants to move, if you feel like he's not getting treated right, I'm going to take him at his word and believe it, because we get this story. We can continue on with this article, see if there's anything else good in here. The Celtics had stated that Thomas had a bone bruise, something he was ready to play through. However, it was later determined to be a much more serious issue, a right femoral acetabular impingement with a labral tear. So they said it was a bone bruise, but that's just that I can barely pronounce it. I'm sure I butchered some word in that medical diagnosis of a right femoral acetabular impingement with a labral tear. That sounds a lot different than a bone bruise. I can take a bone bruise. Oh, my bone is bruising. Okay, all right. I can play through. It's just a little bone bruise. But the bone is bruised, folks. The skin gets bruised, bone gets bruised. We get bruised. But you know what you don't get? Right femoral acetabular impingement with labral tears. Your skin don't do that. I'm not playing through that. I don't even know what the hell that is. So bone bruise or right femoral acetabular impingement with labral tear. Which one are you going to play through and which one are you not going to play through? Y'all tell me. So, just these medical doctors, these team doctors, it's just a bone bruise. He's good to go. You go, folks. It's a bone. You're not going to play with a bone bruise? What? You're going to hurt the team by not going out there to play because of a little old bone? Oh, my bone is bruised. His bone's bruised, folks. He can't go. He can't go. Imagine that being in the media. SportsCenter tweets out, Isaiah Thomas is out of this big important game because of a bone bruise. I mean, could you imagine the comment section? Bone bruise, law, bone bruise, smiley, crying face emoji. He's not playing with a bone bruise. Bone bruise? Bone bruise? I played with one leg. Everybody in the comments would be saying that. I would be playing with one leg. A little old bone bruise. So we know how the media can be. We know how social media can be. We know how now team doctors can be. So always do what's best in your opinion and what you feel is right. Always go with that. Quote here by Isaiah Thomas: If you're going to tell me it's a bone bruise, I'm playing 10 times out of 10. And once again, yes, I mean, it's just a bone bruise. All right, nothing structurally wrong, nothing long-term wrong. Okay. Just a little bone bruise here going on. Yeah, I'll play. No worries. But they're not informing you all the long-term risks and the factors that go in, playing with all that. So always do what's best for you, your player, even you. I'm talking to you right now, you listening. Do what's best, always what's best for you. If it's a job that you hate and they want you to work overtime, they want you to do this, that. No, do what's best for you. Overtime, or go spend some time with your family. Spend that time with your family. Because, they'll lie. Everybody always does what's best for them. So it's never different in corporations and big business and sports and all of this. Always do what's best for you, and I'll always support you and I'll always back it up. All right, let's finish off this article here very quickly. The end result was Thomas's attempt to keep playing resulted in him getting shut down for the rest of the season and then being dealt to the Cavs. So imagine that. Hey, I played through it with y'all, but now you're going to shut me down and trade me to the Cavs without LeBron? If LeBron was there, I'd be fine with that. But without LeBron? To get Kyrie Irving? Throw me in the trash? Even though I played through the bone bruise that you said I had? Come on, don't disrespect me. Disrespecting me, throw him in the trash. So that's truly unfortunate. Over the past 4 seasons, the 5'9" Thomas has played in just 87 games. That's like one season in the last 4 seasons. He's played 1/4 of the games eligible to be played for the Cavs and 4 other teams, including 3 games with the Pelicans this season. At 32, the diminutive Thomas's career could be at an end with his age and his continued trouble trying to come back, no doubt putting doubt in the minds of NBA executives. Thomas's situation could make players in the future uncertain about whether trying to play through a painful injury is worth it in the long run. Exactly. That's the point right there. Always do what's best for you. Never do what you think is the wrong decision. Always try to get all the information of everything that's going wrong about you and your circumstance. And man, oh man, Isaiah Thomas, man, unfortunate. Yeah, just truly unfortunate. I mean, he was a huge player. He was making some big shots on that Celtics team, getting them. I think they got to the Eastern Conference playoffs now with Isaiah Thomas. Is that right? And am I bugging? I think he got there. Let me go here real quick. His career playoffs. Bring that us up real quickly. Here we go. 2017. What did they get to? Eastern Conference Finals, folks. He led them there. He didn't play the last 3 games, but he still got them there against Cleveland. So, I mean, this what this man was bringing to this team, folks. Eastern Conference Finals. Unfortunate. So, all right. Those are all the stories that we needed to cover for today, so let's head over to the NBA quickly. We'll break down the games from last night. We'll do our moneymaker for tonight's action. We are 19 minutes out from the start of Game 4 of the Knicks and Hawks, so let's try and get through it quickly. So, start here with the Bucks and the Heat, and the Bucks absolutely blow out the Heat here. It was kind of a close game, but the second half, the Bucks were able to beat them because you cannot sustain. The Heat do not have the sustainability of their outside shooting. That's what floundered in the second half. So, let's quickly go over here. The Bucks, Chris Middleton, 20 points, 11 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 of 6 from the 3. Giannis taking 4 threes. He was wilding out here, but he ended up having a triple-double, 20 points, 15 assists, 12 rebounds, 0 of 4 from 3. Love that he tried to get those in there. All right, it's still not working. I do not want to see a single 3 in the second round of the playoffs, honestly. There is no more room to kind of play around here. There's no time to play with your food. Just get it done. No threes. Make all your free throws, and then we'll have a nice series against the Nets. Brook Lopez even put up 25 points and 8 rebounds. He actually led the team in scoring. Just, once again, Bam Adebayo not getting it done down low, unfortunately. Pat Connaughton was in the starting lineup here in place of Dante DiVincenzo, and he kind of floundered a little bit. 2 points, 5 rebounds, and only 5 shots. So we'll see how they progress there with the starting 2 guard, who they go with. But Pat Connaughton truly did not get it done game 1. Drew Holiday, 11 points, 4 steals, 9 assists, 6 rebounds, just kind of getting it all done throughout the floor. Bryn Forbes, I mean, how great has this man been this series? 22 points on 7 of 14 from 3. We'll take that all day. And then Bobby Portis also off the bench, 13 points and 3 rebounds. So, I mean, the points were getting scored here by the Bucks. The starters got it done. The bench got it done. And watch out for this Bucks team. Very solid team here, down low, outside shooting. They truly have it all. All right, and then the Heat, I mean, Jimmy Butler, 12 points, 12 points on 26% shooting. That's how you go out, Jimmy? Come on. Got to be better than that, man. It all is going to start with Jimmy Butler and Goran Dragic, and they've been floundering this entire playoff series. So nobody else to blame but themselves. So I don't want to hear anybody in the media saying, oh, Jimmy Butler doesn't have enough help. Jimmy Butler didn't even help anybody himself this year. So once again, Jimmy Butler even went down. Everybody in the bubble last year, they took a giant step back. Everybody. Jimmy Butler, Goran Dragic, Bam Adebayo, Duncan Robinson, Kendrick Nunn, Tyler Hero, they all took a big step back from last season in the finals. Unfortunate. So Jimmy Butler, 12 points on 26% shooting. He had 10 assists and 10 rebounds, a triple-double, but we need the scoring, Jimmy. We need somebody to put up points. That was the problem here all season. Nobody was putting up the points. Trevor Ariza, only 11 points. He didn't do anything else. No rebounds, no assists. Bam Adebayo, 20 points and 14 rebounds, but a minus 22 on the floor, getting absolutely 8 down low by Brook Lopez and Giannis. Duncan Robinson, trash as usual, 5 points on 1 of 4 from the 3. He was a +1. So once again, Duncan Robinson's defense is the best thing about him. But if you're not putting up the points, I mean, it ends in losses. So even if you have decent defense, you need to put up points or you're getting swept either way. So that's why I would have put Tyler Hero in the starting lineup at the 2. Goran Dragic was still the 1, 13 points, 4 assists, 3 rebounds. He just could not get back to his form. I mean, last year in the bubble, Goran Dragic was the second main reason why this team was winning all those games. Jimmy number 1, Goran Dragic number 2, and then Bam Adebayo number 3, and then the rest of the goon squad here. Tyler Hero off the bench, 14 points. He shot 2 of 7 from the 3. Kendrick Nunn off the bench, 18 points. That's what I'm saying. You know, Kendrick Nunn's production is actually better off the bench than it is in the starting lineup, getting those point productions that you need off the bench. So just an unfortunate year for this Heat team. Big old step back, and we'll see what they do in the offseason, but expect a big old blow up of this team. I can't really see anybody being back. Maybe Jimmy Butler, but at the end of the day, he doesn't do enough to win a championship. So he's a good third option of a superstar. You need 3 superstars to win a ring. Jimmy Butler could be the third. I don't know if he can be the 1 or the 2, though. So the Bucks sweep, and the Bucks are the only team to sweep. The 76ers have a chance to sweep. The Nets don't. They lost to the Celtics Game 3. How unfortunate. So we'll see if the 76ers sweep, but the Bucks, the first sweep of the season. Shout out to them. Alrighty, let's keep moving on here to the Nuggets and the Blazers, and we said this at the start of the series that this Blazers team this is the perfect matchup for them. This is such a good matchup. Blazers against the Nuggets for a lower seed to potentially beat the upper seed, and the Grizzlies against the Jazz. They match up very good, so a potential 8-1 upset there, even though that they just lost last night. We'll talk about that as well, but let's stay here with this Nuggets and Blazers game. We'll start here with the Blazers just shooting kind of lights out last night. Everybody getting involved. Damian Lillard only put up 10 points. He had 10 assists and 8 rebounds. Shot absolutely garbage, but only took 10 shots, 1 of 6 from the 3, and 10% overall from the field. So definitely did not get it done, but his kind of assist ability, that's fantastic, able to kind of facilitate the floor. CJ McCollum, though, 21 points, 8 assists, 4 rebounds. Nurkic down low, 17 points, 6 rebounds. Robert Covington, only 9 points, but 9 rebounds as well. And then Norman Powell really picking up the slack scoring-wise. 29 points on 4-4 from 3 and 73% on 15 shots. Absolutely getting it done. So, decent scoring here by the starters. Damian Lillard, unfortunately, not efficient. And then off the bench, Carmelo Anthony steps up again, 12 points. We'll take that. Unfortunately, Anthony Simons flounders, 5 points on 5 shots, and nobody else able to do really anything big here. So the Blazers are able to escape another win here against the Nuggets, going up 2-1, tying the series at 2-2, going back to Denver for Game 5. But once again, just the only way this Blazers team can win if the shooters of every shooter is on. We got some great points by everybody in that starting lineup, so watch out for the Nuggets to take Game 5 back. Alrighty, let's talk about this Nuggets team. What went wrong? Well, Facundo Campazzo had a pretty decent game. 12 points and 7 rebounds with 2 steals. He wasn't efficient from the field, though. 2 of 7 from the 3 and 30% on 10 shots. Austin Rivers, only 8 points. He didn't have that great fourth quarter that pushed the Nuggets over the Blazers in Game 3. So couldn't count on Austin Rivers. Jokic only putting up 16 points. That's real lackluster by him. 16 points, 9 rebounds, only 1 assist. Nothing like what he has shown us all season. Aaron Gordon only 6 points, 4 rebounds. We don't really, he's not one of their main scorers anyway. We can't really rely on him for the score of the basketball anyway. And then Michael Porter Jr. only taking 3 shots, only playing 22 minutes, 3 points and 5 rebounds. So once again, Michael Porter Jr. was a shell of himself. Jokic was a shell of himself, and Austin Rivers could not give us that kind of explosion that we can see sometimes from the man. Now, off the bench, pretty solid here, which is kind of a 180 of what this actual team is. Monte Morris off the bench, 12 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 rebounds. JaMychal Green, 11 points, 5 rebounds. Marcus Howard putting up 9 points. He took 14 shots, wasn't efficient, but we'll still take the 9 points off the bench. And then Paul Millsap, also 9.6 rebounds off the bench. So the bench was kind of solid, just the starters couldn't get it done. So we'll see how the Nuggets kind of come out in game number 5 and see if they can kind of flip the switch back on. But the scores were all out for the Blazers last night. Alrighty, let's go to the 76ers and the Wizards, and this was one of our moneymaker picks yesterday. We didn't do a show yesterday, but if you follow us on Twitter, we'll always kind of have moneymakers if we can't squeeze the show in, which rarely ever happens. But if it does happen, like it did happen yesterday, we will put out our moneymakers, and we hit it both. I mean, we chose the Bucks -5, and then we told y'all to double that money and put it on the 76ers -6.5, which was great value because they were on the road, so we got a little bit of a break there in the spread. But same outcome, road, home, it doesn't matter. I mean, there's no beef. There's no beef. I mean, you don't get automatic beef by being the home team. No, you still got whatever beef you came home with. So they got still no good beef. So exactly what happened, in the first 2 games, just destroying them down low. So let's start with the 76ers. Let's talk about the score because absolutely blowout here. 132-103, a 29-point win for the 76ers team, no doubt. So here we go. 76ers, Ben Simmons, 14 points, 9 assists, 5 rebounds. He shot 7 of 10 from the field, folks. Who said this man can't shoot? He's going down low under the bucket because there's no beef down low for the Wizards. Seth Curry, 15.6 assists. We love that. It's fantastic. A great night. Joel Embiid, 36 big old points. His career high in the playoffs. Very well done. 8 rebounds. He shot 3 of 4 from the 3 and 14 of 18 from down low, folks. Get it done. From the field, I should say. Tobias Harris, 20 points, 13 rebounds. So reliable. I love it. And then Danny Green. Danny Green and Seth Curry combined for 30 points in a game. That's what we're talking about. This is the maximum potential of the 76ers, folks. The starting lineup basically put up 132 points by themselves. Absolutely fantastic. And if we're just talking about the 76ers versus the Bucks, which we think is going to be the Eastern Conference Finals, we have it going 7. This is why we love the 76ers. This is, folks, did you not just read the point totals that we just rallied off? Absolutely fantastic. The best starting lineup, the most consistent starting lineup in the entire NBA, folks. The best starting lineup, it goes to the 76ers. Off the bench, just nothing great by anybody. I mean, nobody was getting, the starters were all taking care of business, so we didn't need anything off the bench. Matisse Thybulle, 5 points on 6 shots. George Hill, 5 points on 100% shooting, 2 shots. Tyrese Maxey, 4 points on 4 shots. Dwight Howard, 5 points and 9 rebounds. That's what we're talking about. Dwight Howard, the 9 rebounds in 16 minutes. Absolutely magnificent. That's what we're talking about, folks. This is a complete team here on the 76ers, and they truly can go all the way, folks. I mean, I don't even know, man. It's going to go 7. If it's 76ers Bucks, it goes 7, no doubt. So just an absolutely amazing starting lineup here for the 76ers team. Go and get it done, folks. I would love to see Joel Embiid get a ring. Of all the slander that him and Ben Simmons have been through, yes, sir, give them a ring. They truly deserve it. They're all stepping it up this year, and they're looking almost unstoppable. Alrighty, now let's Washington Wizards. Russell Westbrook does his thing. 26 points, 10 assists, 12 rebounds, triple-double. Shot 50% from the field, 3 of 6 from the 3. Pretty solid game. Only 3 turnovers as well. Absolutely fantastic. Bradley Beal back at the 2. 25 points, 3 assists, 6 rebounds, 1 of 8 from the 3. Not the greatest there. And 38% on 26 shots. So it wasn't efficient, but he still gave us the 25 points. Still not bad. Alex Len down low, 2 points on 3 shots, 2 rebounds. Rui Hachimura, 10 points, 5 rebounds. And Davis Bertans, 8 points. That is it. So everybody else was kind of floundering here for the starters. Ish Smith off the bench, 7 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. Not bad. And Daniel Gafford, folks, put this man in the starting lineup, please. 16 points, 6 rebounds, truly getting it done. How tall is he? He's 6'10". There's no reason why this man should not be your starting point guard, man. There's zero excuse. Stop with the Alex Len. He's not your best player. You need to get out to hot starts or you're going to instantly lose. How tall is Alex Len? 7 foot? Just 2 inches? And I know you're going against Joel Embiid, so you want your tallest players out there, but he's not your most productive big. You gotta put Daniel Gafford at the 5 for game 4 because you're gonna lose probably regardless. Might as well try to have an opportunity, another kind of chance here. So Daniel Gafford needs to be at the 5 here, at least the 4. Bench Rui Hachimura and try to give him that kind of spark in the off the bench. But you need to put Daniel Gafford in the starting lineup. There's no other way around beating the 76ers team. So we'll see what adjustments the 76ers make in their next game, but if Daniel Gafford is not playing in the starting lineup, you'll repeat here what you've done for the first 3 games, which is getting blown out every single game. So Daniel Gafford, best big there, and they have him off the bench. And I know Alex Len is only playing 10 minutes, folks. I get it, but you need to come off to hot starts. Bench Alex Len. Start Daniel Gafford. Get out to that hot start so you're not always playing from behind. And also play Daniel Gafford 40 minutes like you're playing Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal. There's no time. There's time after the series because you're not winning this series. You're not coming back for down 3-0. Even if you have Daniel Gafford in the starting lineup for every single minute, 48 minutes? If you have him out there for 48 minutes for the next 4 games, you're still not winning, but you're giving yourself a chance to potentially maybe not get blown out. So start Daniel Gafford game 4, please. Alrighty, and then the last game of last night, the Jazz and the Grizzlies. Game 3 at home for the Grizzlies, tied up 1-1. Unfortunately, the Jazz take game number 3 as well, 121-111. But this was a close game. The Grizzlies tied it up late in the fourth quarter, but then they floundered. I mean, they got back into it. They were all looking good, and then just something clicked off. Something turned off on this Grizzlies team, and this offensive production went down bad. I mean, they were getting outscored. They went on the Jazz went on a 10-0 run in the final with the Grizzlies finally tied it 5 minutes, and then the Jazz went on this 3-minute 10-0 run that really brought back up the lead, and that's why the Grizzlies lose. But truly unfortunate here. Dylan Brooks was in foul trouble the entire game, fouled out with 3 minutes left. Once again, they need him out there, but he was just getting ticky-tack calls. They called 2 3-point fouls, maybe even 3, maybe even more. But at least 2 3-point fouls on Dylan Brooks is just, I mean, they know Dylan Brooks is their best defensive player, and they try to get him out of the game as early as possible. And I've seen enough to make that judgment, and I will die with that argument. I do not care. The NBA is rigging this game in favor of the Jazz. I will say it. I will be brave enough to say it. I'm seeing it. They are trying to get Dylan Brooks out of the game as fast as possible, and that's what they've been doing. They did it with the Warriors in the playing tournament game, folks. I mean, we're not saying this for no reason. Or the last game of the season before the playing tournament game where they refaced and then they ended up winning. All right, but let's start here with this Jazz team. Mike Conley, 27 points, 8 assists, 6 rebounds. Fantastic. He shot 7 of 10 from 3, just almost unstoppable. Donovan Mitchell, 29 points, 5 assists, 6 rebounds. He shot 39% on 23 shots, 2 of 10 from the 3. Nothing great, but he was hitting some clutch shots. I'll give him credit for that. Drew some fouls on Dylan Brooks from the 3. I don't like to give him that, but I guess I have to. Rudy Gobert down low, 15 points, 14 rebounds. Royce O'Neal, 12 points, 7 rebounds. He was hitting some clutch threes in the first half, man, oh man. And then Bojan Bogdanovic, 15 points, 6 rebounds, 2 of 3 from the 3, getting it done. We know this man's always consistent. So the starters were all getting it done, and then Jordan Clarkson, he puts up 11 shots and comes away with 15 points. That's what he does. Nobody else is getting scores off the bench. Nobody else is getting shots up off the bench because it's Jordan Clarkson or nothing, folks. Do you get it? He's ball dominant, so Jazz come away with the win. Let's talk about this Grizzlies team. Ja Morant was truly floundering in that kind of, as soon as they got the tie, and I think they were up by 1 at one point with 5 minutes left in the game. John Morant was taking some crazy shots that just were not falling. So John Morant needs to be way more efficient out here, needs to be more of a threat to score the ball, and that was kind of something that hurt him late in the fourth quarter in yesterday's game. But John Morant, 28 points, 7 assists, 3 rebounds, 2 of 7 from the 3, unfortunately. Dylan Brooks, 27 points, 2 steals, 2 assists, 3 rebounds. Once again, 1 of 7 from 3, not the greatest. Jonas Valanciunas, 10 points, 13 rebounds, 6 of those offensive boards, 5 assists. Jaren Jackson Jr., 9 points, 9 rebounds, 3 of 11 from the field, not efficient. And then Kyle Anderson, 11 points, 13 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals. He shot 1 of 5 from the 3 and 38% on 13 shots. But we need more consistent scores out here for the Grizzlies. The 3 ball needs to be as dangerous as the Jazz made it last night. They've got the defense in the starting 5. They just need that scoreability. John Morant needs to step it up a little bit more efficient. Dylan Brooks can be more efficient, lethal from the 3, and same thing with Jaren Jackson Jr. But off the bench, Grayson Allen, oh my God, man, oh man, was this man absolutely fantastic last night. 17 points, 5 of 8 from 3, hitting these big clutch shots that were chipping away the lead every time he scored the ball. So I'll give a ton of credit to Grayson Allen last night, truly looking like a great bench player. He's so much better off the bench than he is in the starting lineup, and he's kind of developing his career like J.J. Redick, and is looking a little bit better overall, in my opinion, than what J.J. Redick was looking like. So we'll see if Grayson Allen can keep this up. They need Grayson Allen to keep up the scoring ability in Game 4 if they want to have a chance to come away with the win. But Grizzlies, they showed great signs that they just got down big late. They got down big early. They fought their way back, and unfortunately, they used all that energy to tie up the game. And then once it was tied, they were like, all right, what do we do now? We go back down? We're not used to leading. So they score again, right? Because we caught up. Now they score, and then we'll try to catch up, right? That's how the game's supposed to go. Unfortunately, they couldn't catch back up again or take the lead. So the Jazz get the win 121-111. Alrighty, let's talk about what's going on today in the NBA. It is now 1 o'clock. I believe the game is officially going to tip off at 1:10, so we can quickly get in the moneymaker for tonight's action against the Hawks and the Knicks. But Hawks, Knicks today at 1 o'clock. Suns, Lakers, 3:30. Nets, Celtics. Nets with some adversity. It's going to be interesting. And Clippers versus Mavericks at 9:30. So here we go. Let's update these lines, get these lines up to date, and quickly do our moneymaker for tonight's action. Today's action all day, last official day of 4 games in the playoffs. Got to take advantage of it while we have it. So here we go. Knicks, Hawks tipping off in 10 minutes. The line is Knicks +5, Hawks -5. Alrighty, let's see if everybody's good to go here. For the Knicks, Mitchell Robinson is out, and for the Hawks, Cam Reddish is still out. So basically, everybody's going to go here, and we are going to take the Hawks here. The outside score ability of the Hawks is just so much better than this Knicks team, and the Knicks have been keeping it close while Julius Randle has been playing like absolute garbage. Is this finally the game? I doubt it. This man seems to be taking advantage of the no crowds, taking advantage of the no pressure with not a lot of fans in the stands. But as soon as the playoffs hit and 15,000 fans are allowed in, this man has floundered big time. So I'm going to take the Hawks here back at home. I think they get the win again. The Knicks, they need that home court advantage. They need that crowd, those 15,000 fans to help out their defense. But at the end of the day, I cannot trust these Knicks shooters at all. There's nobody consistent on this team besides Derrick Rose, and he can only do so much from the point guard position. We need Julius Randle to step up. I don't see it happening, and the defense down low against Clint Capella is just too much for this Knicks team to overcome. So I'm going to take the Hawks -5 here. They score the ball. They score the ball well. They won by 9 points in game number 3 at home. I don't see that changing. I do not see this Knicks team getting right back on track, scoring the ball at a high efficient pace to keep up with what the Hawks can do. Hawks -5. Alrighty, let's go to the next one. Suns, Lakers. Suns +6.5. Lakers -6.5. Alrighty. Chris Paul's a game-time decision. I mean, do you rest him? I mean, is it too late to rest him? We wanted them to rest him in Game 3, so he's probably not going to be he probably wouldn't have been 100% for Game 4, but at least you gave him an extra day of rest. And they didn't do that, and they still lost, and now you're still back with an injured Chris Paul here for Game 4. So It's going to be unfortunate here for the Suns team. I really wish they would sit Chris Paul, maybe start Cameron Payne, have him try to get it done here, but you're hurting your team by having Chris Paul out there. He can't be the defender. They're all attacking him. I would attack him. Why would you not attack Chris Paul in this game? What is he going to do? I mean, the shoulder is bad, unfortunately. So I think we're going to flip it here. Lakers have a chance to go up 3-1, heading back to Phoenix. It's LeBron, folks. He gets it done. He always does. And fools on us for going against him for the first 3 games, taking the Suns every single game here. But we're going to swallow the 6.5 here. Chris Paul, man, oh man, it's always something every time we get into the playoffs, and it's just so unfortunate. LeBron, can't you let him get 1 ring? Come on, LeBron. Give Chris Paul 1. You've got enough. No, come on. I want to see Chris Paul get 1. But it seems like LeBron's going to be his brick wall this year in the playoffs. I think they blew it. I think the Suns blew it. I mean, there's nobody really to I mean, Jay Crowder's not hitting the 3. If Jay Crowder was hitting the 3, we'd be fine. I mean, all these games would be close, but Jay Crowder's not hitting the 3. Chris Paul can't score because of the shoulder, so now it's just Devin Booker. That's the only consistent scorer on this team. DeAndre Ayton, I mean, if you're not running the pick and roll with Chris Paul and DeAndre Ayton, who's feeding DeAndre Ayton down low? I mean, there's just nobody to score the ball besides Devin Booker because of this Chris Paul injury. They're still probably going to start him. So what are we going to do? We're not going to keep taking the Suns +6. We'll swallow the 6.5 by the Lakers. It's LeBron against an injured Chris Paul. We'll take the Lakers all day in that situation, unfortunately. All right, let's move on here to the Nets and the Celtics. And Nets -7.5, Celtics +7.5. And what I love about this game is now that the Nets have to face some adversity. They just lost. How crazy. How do you lose against the Celtics? I mean, truly disgusting that they did that, first of all. And how are they going to come back? How is this Nets team going to come back facing this adversity? Who's going to step up and be the leader? Because I don't know, I'm not going to rely on Kyrie Irving or Kevin Durant to be the leader. I can rely on James Harden to be the leader, but is he going to be that vocal leader? Is he going to step up? And is everybody else going to play well? Now, what happened with the Celtics that made them win Game 3? Well, Jason Tatum went for 50 points. I mean, that's basically what happened here. Kemba Walker put up 6 points on 21% shooting. Absolutely garbage. The man was taking 7 threes and bricking every single one of them, as Jason Tatum is literally looking around, asking and begging and pleading, somebody, please. Damn, can somebody, I'm putting up 50. I'm putting up 50 freaking points, and you're going to have the audacity to brick right in front of my face, Kemba? Please, somebody help with the scoring. Luckily, Marcus Smart went 5 of 8 from 3 to put up 23 points. Evan Fournier put up 17 points on 4 of 7 from 3. So luckily, we got some help by those other players here. But Kemba Walker, 6 points. Even Tristan Thompson put up 19 points down low. Once again, I mean, the bigs of the Nets, they don't have bigs. If you don't start Nicholas Claxton, folks, I don't know. Why are we starting Blake Griffin? He's not good anymore, folks. DeAndre Jordan's not even playing. Did he even play in Game 3? I don't even think he's played this entire series. Yeah. So if you do not play Nicholas Claxton, I don't understand why Blake Griffin's playing 24 minutes and Nicholas Claxton is playing 16. I'd put Nicholas Claxton out there for the entire time. Yeah, this Celtics team, I mean, is Jason Tatum going to go for 50 again? He's going to have to, and then hope and pray that Marcus Smart can replicate this performance, that Tristan Thompson can replicate the scoring performance down low, and that Kemba Walker can please, for the love of goodness sake, not go 21% on 14 shots. But I am going to go with the Celtics here. I can rely on Jason Tatum, and I think that may be enough for me to take them here at home. The Knicks have just been punched in the mouth. How do they respond with, a Steve Nash and Mike D'Antoni led coaching staff team with Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant? No leadership. Where is the leadership on that team between the coaches and the players? It's James Harden, but it's just one player out there. So I'm going to take the Celtics +7.5 here at home. We'll see if they can keep it close. If Jason Tatum can do another 50 piece, we'll take the Celtics with the points because I do not trust the leadership of the Nets. And then the last game of the night, the Clippers and the Mavericks. Clippers -3, Mavericks +3. Going to be an absolutely great one here. Clippers just won the game, shut everybody up for the moment, and we'll see how they respond here for game number 4 here, still on the road. But Let's take a quick peek on what happened in this Clippers game that made them win. Kawhi Leonard put up 36 points. Paul George put up 29 points. Reggie Jackson in the starting lineup put up 16 points. Exactly what we want to see. So are these starters going to be able to continue to do it? While how many points did the Mavericks? They put up 108. Just, little lackluster scoring. I mean, Luka put up 44. Tim Hardaway Jr., a little light game with only 12 points. Porzingis only 9 points. Is that going to happen again? Maybe not. But we're going to bet on this Mavericks team back at home here to go up 3-1. And really at this point, if the Mavericks can do that, you're looking really good. But if it goes 2-2, going back to L.A., they just lost all that momentum, and now it's not looking good here. But we're going to take the 3 points here for the Mavericks. Just the shoot ability was not there for game number 3, and that's why they lost. We're going to expect that to pick right back up in game number 4. The Clippers hasn't shown it. I mean, it's not like everybody else stepped up. I mean, we know Kawhi Leonard and Paul George get it done. I mean, we know that. That's why they're even competitive. That's why they won last night. It's not like the bench was hot or the other role players were good. We can count on Reggie Jackson. We know he's that decent of a scorer. That's why we want him in the starting lineup. But we're going to take the Mavericks +3 here. A poor shooting night by everybody else besides Doncic. We think Doncic, same thing with Jason Tatum. He's going to do what he does. I mean, that's what these players do. They are always consistent. Maybe not the 50, but we'll get 35 plus from Jason Tatum, possibly 40 even plus from him. Same thing with Luka Doncic, but we just need those other role players to still be solid, a little bit better than solid, to try to be competitive here. So we'll take the 3 points here for the Mavericks. So our moneymaker tonight is Hawks -5, Lakers -6.5, Celtics +7.5, and the Mavericks +3 here for our moneymaker for tonight's action. So that's going to do it for us today. We're a minute out away from tip-off. We've got to go. We've got to edit. We've got to post. And then we've got to sit back and relax as we watch NBA all day. So hopefully y'all do the same. And we'll see you tomorrow when we're breaking in that money, cashing in those tickets. And we'll do it all again tomorrow. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. And we're back tomorrow, folks, live noon Eastern. All righty. Go enjoy the last full day of 4 games of NBA basketball. Playoff basketball. Even better. Got to love it. You better enjoy it. It's the last day.